you like the 80s music. I'd like to know what attracts you most to that kind of music, and how would you compare that to the current scene?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I love about 80s music, and which we try to put into a lot of our music, is epicness, which is, it's hard to describe, but it's just sort of the sensation that these songs are huge and big and power vocals and really harmonic and lots of backing vocals and that kind of stuff. It's just really kind of indulgent and kind of almost cheesy. I love. It's my favorite kind of music. So that's what attracts me to 80s music. And yeah, you know, one of the exciting things about music right now is that, especially very recently, more and more, there's a lot of 80s influence in pop music, which is the kind of synths with the kind of beats and things that people are using. So that's very exciting for me to see a lot of that working its way back into music, because that's my jam.
Well said. For both of you, can you share a couple of favorite fun moments that you had?
Favorite what moments?
Fun moments.
Let's see. You know, it's great when we first came to Asia for the very first time. It was in Singapore, and for me, I'd never even been over here before. And we were greeted at the airport by a bunch of fans that gave us candy and teddy bears and lots of very tight hugs. So that was my first experience with Asian. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, it's just always so surprising, you know, because when we're doing stuff over in America and shooting these videos, it's, as I said, very much just a couple, you know, us two, a couple guys for a crew, the band, and we're shooting these videos, we put them out, and of course we see the comments and we love to interact on Twitter, but then to actually see people in the flesh, you know, at our show 2 days ago, they were chanting outside, banging down the door, and it's always so surreal to know that they're real people. It's awesome.
Lastly, do you have preference when it comes to the image of fans that like your music? Do you prefer having someone who has thick glasses and really understanding the music, every element of the stuff that you come out, or do you prefer a girl who screams at the top of her lungs?
I think, you know, I don't think it matters. I think as long as people are passionate about our music, that is enough for us. Yeah, the passion is all that matters.
As long as they love it, it's good by us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From wheninmanila.com, may we call on Angeline Rodriguez.
Hi guys.
Hi there.
My first question is, what do you listen to on your downtime? Like, when no one's watching, what do you have playing on your iPad or on your Spotify?
Let's see, for me right now, I love Tegan and Sarah's album, and actually, I play CDs in my car, so I like mix CDs off my computer. Yes, I still do this.
He doesn't have an auxiliary jack,
I
so
know,
he has to burn.
I haven't gotten that yet, so I have to have the CDs, so, you know, it's an unusual combination of music from Wicked to a couple Backstreet Boys songs to the Pokemon theme. Honestly, if anyone ever got a hold of those CDs, they'd be like, who in the world? What is this thing?
And as I said earlier, I did a lot of musical theater in my past, so I love, like, I have a ton of just musical theater soundtracks. And yeah, I find I like listening to those because they tell a story, and that's something I kind of try to incorporate into my music as well, that kind of storytelling element. So that's, yeah, my iPod, similarly, people would be like, who? This is a pop artist who's listening to, like, all of this weird, you know, Miss Saigon and Les Miserables, but I love it.
So what's your favorite musical then?
My favorite musical is Chess. It's by the guys from ABBA, but they wrote this epic, and it's very 80s, it's kind of indulgent. It's kind of obscure, but it's my favorite.
For me, it would be a tie between Wicked and Phantom of the Opera, because I think both of those are incredible.
So when you started out, did you actually expect to be this successful doing your YouTube videos?
I mean, I think we always had dreams of being here, but I mean, certainly it wasn't the thought when we were putting up those first videos that we would be here, so it's still kind of crazy for us, but yeah, I mean, it's still surreal being in the Philippines, and originally we were just in little Connecticut putting stuff up basically from our dorm rooms.
Do you have any tips for fellow YouTube artists who are starting out on how to become or reach your level, or you know, like how they can become as successful as
Yeah, I mean, I think one important thing is consistency. You know, when you're building a YouTube channel, you really are, you know, you're not just trying to put all your weight behind one video and hope that that gets successful. I mean, you have to do that on some level to get that exposure, but then if you're lucky enough to have that, you really have to then follow it up with consistent content because you really want to build a channel that people want to come back to. And that's one thing that's been very important for us because we've had those couple viral hits, but if we didn't then, you know, the next week release another quality video, we wouldn't have the kind of dedicated viewership that we've gotten.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
By the way, guys, speaking of your YouTube success, what was your feeling when you reached that first 1 million hit?
I mean, it was crazy. I remember when it was. I mean, it was the Michael Jackson medley that was the first video that got 1 million views. And at the same time, it was very surreal, but it's like when you have a birthday and suddenly you're a year older, you're like, wow, I'm a year older, but it doesn't really feel different. Like, the day still went on, as usual, you know, and still had to go to school and do homework and everything, so, you know, it was an interesting combination of being really surreal and then also at the same time, we're still down to earth and doing what we do.
And I think because this is all so new to us, every single threshold has felt like that. You know, when we first put out our very first video, that one got to 1,000 hits, I think, and at that time, 1,000 hits to us was like, what? We don't, you know, this is clearly more than just our friends and family. Who are these 1,000 people? And then we hit 100,000, and then 1 million, and then 10 million, and now we're at like, you know, a total almost like 1 billion views. And it's, so every threshold sort of is a new, unbelievable feeling.
Okay. You know what? That's really, really hard to achieve. You know what? Some of us might post videos when we get 10 views, we're already happy. But you guys, you achieved that 1 million views. So, guys, let's give them a big round of applause for that one. So next one, may we call on Marco from Musico Manila.
Hello.
What's up?
I just wanted to ask, what is your reactions about these feedbacks and comments that you're better than your covers are better than the original versions of those artists? And how do you handle those bashers, those negative comments from these fans of this original artist that you cover?
I mean, well, for the first one, you know, we're very lucky that our fans love what we do, and you know, post things like, oh, I love this one, I have this on my iPod, I listen to this more than the original. In the end, we, you know, just try to do what we love, and if people like it more than the original, that's great. But you know, we're just going to try to make great music that we love regardless.
And I mean, in terms of dealing with the negative comments, it's the internet, you know, that's always going to happen, so you kind of learn to just assume. And the amazing thing is our fans are so dedicated and like on top of their game that usually whenever there's a negative comment on one of our videos, our fans will downvote it so quickly that if you actually go to most of our videos, you'd be hard pressed to find the negative ones because they've been like pushed so far down. So yeah, nowadays we barely even see them, but even when we do, it's, you know, if you got haters, that means that you're doing well, so, you know, water off the back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up from Gigs Manila, may we call in Justin.
Hey,
What's up?
what do you think are the challenges of making an original song versus making covers?
That's a great question. You know, the great thing about doing originals is that it's just so much more rewarding when people finally at the end of the day love it and say, oh my gosh, you know, this is going to play at my wedding. You know, that means so much more to know that that's your own words. I mean, it's obviously challenging because it's scarier, you know, it's not proven material that you're working with. It's your own words and your own music. And so, yeah, it's a little bit of a risk, but I think people like that. People like feeling that, you know, you're making yourself vulnerable with your own words and music. And the challenging thing, of course, about covers is that a version of that song already exists in the world and that people are familiar with it. So it's your challenge to add something to it to make it different or, you know, better or whatever you're going to do to it. It's more challenging because there's something to compare it to.
Also, Sam, you've been part of the Sing Off and Idol Insider, and of course, you do know Christina Rumi. have you ever had any plans of joining a TV singing competition, or was it a conscious decision not to join?
Yeah, I mean, you know, those kinds of shows can be amazing for the people on them in that they give you that kind of immediate exposure to lots and lots of people. But now, especially having worked behind the scenes and hosted a lot of the you know, background stuff on that, I'm more certain that I wouldn't want to do it, just because it is, the artists who go on that very much are sort of putting their faith in other people, in producers, and you know, the people who make the show happen. And sometimes it can be great, but also you're really at the whims of a lot of other things. And at the end of the day, they're TV shows that are more for, you know, getting viewers than really for the integrity of the artist. So the fact that we've been able to create this platform where we can do things on our own terms and make our own success, I'll take that any day over one of those kinds of shows.
And Kurt, as a music producer, Sam has already mentioned where he thinks music is going. How about you?
Where I think music is going? You know, music, it kind of like goes in cycles, right? Like right now, there's a lot of influences from retro music coming back in, you know, with like old school synths, like bit crush sounds, a lot of like disco influences in many ways in modern music. You know, I think where it's going is really anyone's guess, because it's really driven by songs that people love and artists people love. You know, someone like Sam Smith is an artist that I listen to a lot now, and I listen to his stuff, and it's like, you know, that sounds like there's many influences from modern music and older music, but totally different than stuff that's on the radio. So, you know, where I think it's going, great songs that people love. As far as the sonic sound, you know, that could be anything.
And just one last question. Ever since you started making music, either by yourself or together, can you describe to us your first happy freak-out moment that made you decide, I'm pushing through with this?
Happy freak-out moment.
Man, there've been a lot of those happy freak-out moments.
There have been many, like, they're different along the way. Like as Sam said, with the very first video, when it got 1,000 views in basically a night, 2 nights, whatever it was, that was kind of like a mini freak-out moment where it's like, oh my god, 1,000 views, which of course is nothing. But
Yeah, I mean, some of the most tangible ones have been like, we got to be on the Oprah show, got to be on the Ellen show, and those are kind of maybe the most concentrated freakouts where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting these people, I'm doing this really iconic thing, and then getting to go back home and watch it with friends and family. I'm like, that's me on TV. Those are kind of just the most crazy, surreal moments.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Next up from Philippine Concerts, may we call in Sent.
Hi guys, just like for Steve Greeny and other YouTube artists, you receive an invite from The Voice, would you consider it?
If I received an invite from The Voice? Yeah, I mean, those shows are always, all of those shows are always sending out feelers to all the YouTube personalities for sure. So we've all gotten those. Yeah, again, you know, I don't love the idea of being on one of those kinds of shows just because you do lose a lot of the ability to sort of make your own destiny, which is very important to me. So, so yeah, probably for now, I would still stay away from those things. But they are very cool. I enjoy watching them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And lastly, may we call on from Rappler.com, Wyatt Ong.
Hi Sam,
Hey there.
Kurt. Hi.
Hey.
So nice to finally see you guys.
Likewise.
Well, we've been asking you a lot of questions, so I've been live tweeting you guys, and we're getting a lot of feedback. So I just wanted to tell you what some of the fans are saying.
Please
Is
do.
that
Fan
okay?
questions.
So, Mikael Diaz, a popular local actor here, he's saying that you guys should try halo halo, which is like a frozen dessert with a lot of different ingredients. So that's one thing you should try.
Right.
Anything
Halo
that's
halo.
described as dessert sounds great.
Great. You have a call out from people from Cebu who say Cebu is in another region. You'd have to fly there from Manila, but they're saying that they wish you could do a show there next time. So
We'll tell them next time we absolutely will, for
okay.
sure.
Right, and you have some comments. I tweeted that you said that your Whitney Houston cover was one of the more difficult challenges. So NJ Maldito said that that song has always been a challenge to every singer, so amateur season. And we have a question from Crystal Ann. So she's saying for Sam, did working with the Dukes Men in college and touring with them in any way prepare you for now headlining a tour?
Absolutely. So right now in the U.S., collegiate a cappella is such a huge thing. And it's great because not only does it train you kind of to tour, to put on a good show, but it's also, singing a cappella is one of the most vocally taxing things you can do because, you're literally for the full hour, hour and a half concert, you are literally constantly singing these backup parts, which often are very sort of tiring. So the best thing about collegiate a cappella was just that it trained this muscle here to be able to sing for a long time and really loud and high. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, and she's also asking, what's the hardest part of being on tour?
The hardest, well, one of the really hard parts about being on tour is the fact that you can only bring around so many clothes with you, and you don't always get the opportunity to do laundry. So it's about trying to make the clothes that you did bring last and not smell too bad. That's one of the very difficult things about tour, I would say.
So I'm getting a couple more that are saying that they wish next time you could bring like Alex Good and Chrissy over here next time too. And we have another couple of tweets and they're saying that we should try inasal. So it's a type of, almost like a barbecue. So you guys should go on and try it.
This all sounds good.
Thank you, and we'll see you later, so I can't wait. Cheers.
Fantastic,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
So we still have one more from Paul, the PRguy.com. Maybe we called him Paul.
Hey guys,
What's up?
hey, what's up? Okay, so you guys are talented musicians, we all know that. But then you, Sam, particularly, you're a funny guy. When are you gonna do the 5th episode of College Musical?
Well, so in September, we're actually releasing a full feature-length movie version that we shot a little while back. And it's, yeah, there's going to be a lot of jokes and comedy in that. In that, I actually spend a good 20 minutes of the movie in my underwear only. So fans can look forward to that. But yeah, I love getting the chance to sort of be goofy and to be funny. And we've been vlogging this whole tour, we've been filming, so fans are going to get to see a little more of the goofy side of Sam and Kurt.
So is it safe for me to announce that on September we'll be
In
able to
September,
watch
yeah, you'll be able to see
Awesome.
College Musical, the movie. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So right now, guys, what is your message to all those Filipino fans who have been waiting for you to perform right here?
It's so great to finally be here in the Philippines. I mean, we wanted to come here for so long, and this is our first time. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us, and we can't wait to rock out.
Yeah, we absolutely cannot wait to see all of your smiling faces at the show. We want you to bring your loudest screams, your loudest cheers, because we're going to put on the best show we possibly can, and it's going to be a ton of fun for all of us. So I hope to see you all there.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Sam Tsui and of course Hugo Schnieder. And to give us a sample of